Hello, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum, Sat Sri Akal. Welcome to you all on the journey to your professional and personal academic excellence. The series Adding Power to Excel, the most sought after skill for professional growth by organizations, is there. And now today what we are going to look at in this particular Adding Power to Excel series are interesting things. Magic. We all love magic, so we'll be seeing some magic tricks and see what are these magic tricks and functions which will help us to extract or get an output within less than 30 seconds. So we will discuss some condition based functions and their applications. So what are these things? We will talk about some condition based functions like functions to do sums, function to do averages, counting records, counting values based on conditions. We will talk about how to implement this, how to implement all this using the SUMIF, SUMIFS, AVRAGEIF and AVERAGEIFS, COUNTIF and COUNTIFS functions. So without much ado, let's start rolling with our Excel file. Now the Excel file what I have here is, as a sample, I have an Excel file which has almost 20 columns. Just to show you, almost 20 columns, almost 51,000 rows with some kind of sales data, where we have the products, we have the product categories, the sales amount, the sales value, the quantity sold, profit, lot of information, too much of data. That's a normal scenario. We have all this type of scenarios which is there. We have more, we might have sometimes more than this. Now what we might want to do, or we require, maybe for a particular customer, we might want to see what is the total sales a particular customer has given us. We have the name of the customers here. Somewhere we have a name of a customer, his name, his ID, we have the names of the customers, and we just want to find out what is the total sales a particular customer, I am talking about a particular customer, has given us. We are not talking about a sales analysis thing which is there. We are not talking about anything else. We are just talking about a particular customer data, a particular customer sales amount, for a particular product sales amount, or for a particular product under a particular category we want the sales amount. Now that all becomes too complicated, isn't it? We start looking at, okay, let me do filtering of the data. Another option which most of us think about who use Excel a little bit, or who use Excel also, is okay, pivot tables. But to be very frank, pivot tables are there not for these type of things. Pivot tables we use mostly for comparative analysis of data. Doing a pivot table for this type of requirement is time consuming. I am talking about my thought process of 30 seconds. I want an answer in 30 seconds. I want a result in 30 seconds. So let's see, how do we do it? Can we do it? Put your comments. Can we do it? If you can do something like this, put your comments in the comment box. What is the process you will follow? Pause the video, think for 5-10 seconds, put your comments, and then let's move ahead. So building up on the same scenario, what I have here, I have created a sheet with some, I've named it as quick info just for my understanding, and what I have is, I have created some panels where I want that information to be available to me immediately. Now the yellow area which is there in this sheet is something which is my magic area. Here we will get the magic values the moment we put anything in these uncolored cells, that is the white cells. So for example, if I type something in the region, automatically the total sales for that particular region should be there. I type a segment, automatically the total sales for that segment should appear. Now this is what is a 30-second thing what I am talking about. If we have this panel ready, then we have 30-second functions which can be put into this, and we get the result in 30 seconds. That is what I call them as magic functions. My terminology, you can use it. So let's look at it. How will we do the sales? We have understood, or we know already, how to understand functions. In my earlier videos on understanding formulas and functions, I had explained how to understand a function. So in this case, let us try to follow the same process. So we want to do a sum based on a condition. So what is the function used for sum? Is sum. And condition is, what is the conditional function we understood in one of the earlier videos on conditional functions, logical functions, was if. So do we have something called as SUMIF? Let's see. So under math and trig, we have a function called as a SUMIF function. Function, how many parameters? From understanding function videos, if you have not seen it, please go ahead, see it. It's part of the playlist, and you will see that there are 3 parameters here in this function. 2 mandatory, 1 optional. So first parameter is the range. Please remember, range is always is basically collection of values. It's not one cell, it is a collection of cells. So for a SUMIF function, the first parameter is the range parameter. That is, where is the place where you want to evaluate the values. Now here we are talking about region. So what I will do is, I will go to my sales sheet, click on the region column, that is towards the end, highlight the region column, and just to show you the magic, I will select all the rows. I have used control shift and down arrow to select all the rows. You can in fact select from top to bottom, that is, it gives me sales T:T, which is all the rows. Now this gives us a dynamism, that is, you delete rows, the value automatically changes. You add new data, the totals automatically change. So, but I won't advise you to use the whole range, because that becomes a little bit of a thing. We have using 51,000, but we have 1 million rows, so I don't need up to that. Maybe we can put up to 100,000, 200,000, or let's, in this case, because the data is too huge, I'm using TT, and I click on OK. Sorry. The next parameter what I have is the criteria. That means, what is the criteria you are looking for in this range? So we are looking for region, that is, I have kept this area, I have typed a value here, Oceania, that is for the region. So what that is, one criteria is one value, one cell. And what is the sum range? That is the column where you want to do the total for once you find the value which is there in the criteria in the range. So I'll explain you the whole function once again. So sum range is, I want the total of sales, so I will select sales column. Here one thing which we have to remember, the range what we are using for the range parameter and the sum range parameter, the range length, or you can say the range size should be the same. Like here, if we have set T:/T, here also it should be H:/H. It should not be less, or it shouldn't, the ranges should not differ in the size. And I click on OK here, and we get this. Good. Now you have less than 30 seconds and I want to get the total of some other region. So I'll just, okay, I have a region, so I will just, now I have 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds, and I change the region, my result changes. Abracadabra, close your eyes for 5 seconds, I change the region and my result changes. I go to sheet 1, let's say I type another region. Close your eyes. Abracadabra. Open your eyes. Spelling mistake. Open your eyes and you have the different answer. Fair enough? So this is what we are talking about, the SUMIF function. I'll just open the function and explain you how the whole process is. So let's look at the function here. So what we are doing here in the function is, the name of the function SUMIF. We are telling the function the first parameter is the range parameter, that is sales TT. That is, we are telling the SUMIF function that, my dear friend, go to the column T to T in the sales sheet, pick up that range. As I said, range is always multiple set of values. In that range, look for whatever value has been typed in C4. So I have typed central here. I can change it anytime. So that is what dynamism is for this particular thing. So it is dynamic, giving the range as T colon T, that is starting from first row to 1 million, one last row, that is 1,048,516th row, is, as you keep on adding more data, this keeps on changing. You can keep it fixed, maybe only till the data whatever you want, or maybe some additional rows if you don't want to keep all the rows. Then which column, that is the sum range, which column to total for. It's an optional parameter, but then what happens is Excel by default looks for the nearest number column which is there, but we want a specific column for which we want to do the total. So we say sales H colon H and we get the result here. So what will Excel do? Go to the sales sheet, go to the T column T, look for the value of central, whatever has been typed in the region value here, that is C4, do the total of all those values from the sales column and give us the result. And abracadabra, EMEA, and you have your result, not even 30 seconds. So this is why I call them as 30-second function. Now this was what we have seen is, you can do the same thing for segments, product category and product. Now this is one parameter. Now if we take another parameter here, or another scenario here is, we want to do the whole thing based on multiple parameters. We might want to get the total sales for a particular region, for a particular segment, for a particular region, for a particular segment. So how do we do it? Now here we are not talking about one condition, we are talking about two conditions. So what can we use? We talked about SUMIF. SUMIF was allowing us to do only one condition. So we go back to our English grammar days, singular, plural, one to many. So what do we use when we have one pencil, many pencils? So we add an S. So here what we do is, we go to our formulas again, math and trig, and there is a function called SUMIFS. Only two parameters and both are mandatory. But we were talking about multiple parameters here, or multiple criteria here. So what do we do? So let's see as we go ahead. So what we are talking about, what we want is, the first parameter is a sum range, different from SUMIF. SUMIF, the first parameter is the range on which you want to put the criteria. In SUMIFS, the first parameter is the range which you want to do the sum for. So in this case, we have sum range as, we'll keep the whole thing as sales column, and we'll keep the whole column, that's okay, because the data is too huge. So I'll keep HH. What is my criteria range? So first criteria what I want to put is on the region column. So what we do is, we go to the sales sheet, select the region column. Range, please kindly remember, as I have always been stressing, range is multiple values. So in this criteria range 1, what is the value we are looking for? We are looking for a value what we will use from the cell next to the region what I have typed here, where we will put a value in them after we finish this. What is your criteria range 2? Criteria range 2, what we are talking about is segment. That means we want to pick up the value or put a condition on the segment. So I put criteria range 2, go to my sales, and I will highlight the segment column. And what is the criteria? Criteria we will pick up from C8 in this case. Currently the result is 0. No worries, we'll just get the result. And I click on OK. 0. So abracadabra again. I type the region EMEA and I type the segment as consumer. We got it. So the magician in front of you, you got the result here in 30 seconds. You change this to, let's say, central, and maybe another, we say corporate. Abracadabra. Close your eyes. 5 seconds, less than 5 seconds. I have given them 30 seconds. I have called them as 30-second functions, but they are less than 5 seconds. It's only the time what you take in typing. Now, the beauty about SUMIFS function is it can take up to 255 criterias. Like, I'll just show you with another set. We have region, segment, product category. I want a region, segment, and product category. So we go to wherever we want to do the total here. I will come to my formulas, math and trig, SUMIFS. Sum range is, yes, the range which we want to do the total for. We want to do the total for our sales. My criteria range is based on the region. So I will select the region column. Please put in the comments what I could have used as a better option instead of running around here and there. In one of my earlier videos in making functions and in cell referencing, something related to cell referencing, naming ranges, in my earlier videos I have touched upon all these topics. Okay, so what could I have used here for the criteria range? So what is my criteria now? Criteria is whatever I give in cell C7. Criteria range 2 is what we are putting on the segment. Criteria what we are putting the value in C8. You can just scroll down and see the other criteria. So as I said, 255 criteria, you keep on scrolling down. Criteria 3 is on the product category. So we go to product category, and criteria 3 is whatever we will type in the product category and click on OK. 0 again. Why? Because we don't have anything here. So there are 3 conditions. So third condition is not matching. In the comment box, what would be internally considered by SUMIFS function? In the comment box, type your comments, whether it is an AND or whether it is an OR. What is used internally in the SUMIFS function? So let's say product category is fashion here, and we get fashion and we get this. Close your eyes. MEA, EMEA, and our result changes. Can you see the differences here? So this is 30-second function, the magic functions in Excel, which if you keep a panel ready like this, you will have your result in less than 30 seconds. You'll have your output. Similarly, like what we have discussed, the SUMIFS function, there is another function to do averages. We might want to do the average sale for a particular region. What is the function which we will use? Yes, in the comment box. Yes, average FS. So yes, average FS. So what we do is we go to formulas. Average if will not be found in your regular place. We'll have to go to more functions, statistical, so it comes under the statistical category. So average if, we are talking about one condition here. So range, the process is the same. What is the range which we are checking for? We are checking the range of the region column. So we'll just select the region. What is the value we are looking for? We are looking for whatever we type in this cell, that is I4, and the average range is for the sales value, and we click on OK. Div 0 because we have not typed anything. So EMEA, let's say, and we get the average amount which we are talking about in the sales. If I type central, we get this. Fair enough, good enough for the time being. Now the same thing will happen when we are talking about multiple conditions. We want the average sale for a region for a particular segment of products. So if we are looking at this kind of a scenario, let's understand this. Like sum if S, we have something called as average if S. Sum if, we have average if. Similarly, sum if S, we have average if S for multiple conditions. We go to formulas, more functions, statistical, and we have average if S. What is the average range? So average range is my sales column. What is the criteria range one? We want to first put the first criteria on the region column. So I go to my region, that is the region column. What is the criteria? Whatever we type in cell I7. Criteria range 2, we are talking about the segment. So we look at the segment column. Segment column, and the criteria will be the criteria range 2, and criteria 2 value is this. Similarly, we can have 3, 4, 5 up to 255 criteria ranges with criteria values. Again we get 0, so let's say segment fashion and region EMEA. Segment is corporate. So we get the average. Similarly, numbers. How many number of orders have been placed in a particular region? So what function? What do we do to count values? We know that it is count. So there is a function called as count if. So we go to more functions, statistical, and we use a function called as count. Average if or average, normal average, average if S, count, count A, all these functions are under the category of statistical functions. They are under the statistical category. So what is the value what you want to, I want to use count if. So what is the range which you are looking for? We are looking for the range as region. What is the criteria we are looking at? Whatever we type in the cell. So where is my count if? Count if. The range is the region and the criteria is whatever is typed here. So currently it is 0. If I type EMEA, so we can understand that there are 5029 orders or rows which match EMEA. So in a way we can say that there are 5029 orders from this region. Similarly, like what we have, sum if S, average if
AVERAGEIFS. So we have one criteria, multiple criterias. Similarly, COUNTIF S is also for multiple criterias, where we want to get a result. Let us say, for example, 2 criterias here. Similarly, 255 criterias are possible. So what we are doing here is we want to have region wise, segment wise, we want to see how many orders have been placed. So we go to more functions, statistical functions, COUNTIF S. So criteria range, first criteria we are putting on the segment column, sorry, region column, and what are we looking for is whatever value we type here. Criteria range 2 we are putting on the segment, so the segment and whatever value we put in the segment. So you can take up to 255, as you can keep on typing. Click on OK. So we will type here EMEA and let's say corporate. So we are talking about 1574 record. I'm just trying to explain you how it is working. 1574 records which match EMEA and corporate together. Put in the comment box. Now, do you agree that what we are talking about in the if-s function, that internally they are all talking about, or they are using the and in between, the and of 2 conditions, the multiple conditions are anded, that is there is an and in between. So we are talking about region and segment, or region and segment and product category. So we are talking about 4. So as you keep on, all these conditions have an and, so they are part of an and function. So internally the SUMIFS, AVERAGEIFS and COUNTIFS function are looking at the ands. They are using the and function internally. That means all the criterias are with an and. So hopefully this was useful. So let's, and 30-second results, keep these type of panels ready with most of the things which you want can be done in 30 seconds. In one of the future videos we will see that we don't even have to type the values what we are looking for, we can just simply select, and that would be much more interesting. And we can call these panels as mini dashboards. I'm not talking about that they are actual, I'm not saying that there are actual real dashboards, but yes, they are your mini dashboards which are giving you lot of summary information which can be used, and it would make your life easier and more effective. So at the end, let's see what we have covered. Is we have seen condition based functions, SUMIF with 3 parameters, the range on which you want to put a condition, the criteria, that is the value you are looking for in that range, and the column what you want to do the sum for. SUMIFS function, first parameter is the column which you want to do the total for, the criteria range 1, that is on the column where you want to put the, or where you want to look for value, criteria 1, that is what is the value you are looking for, criteria range 2, that is another column where you want to put a, where you want to search for a value, and what is the value, criteria 2, what is the value, so on. You can have 255 as I said. Then similarly AVERAGEIFS, 3 parameters, AVERAGEIFS, multiple conditions, COUNTIF and COUNTIFS. So hope this session was useful. Put your comments, like the video, share the video, subscribe for the channel, and see you in the next video on much more interesting topics. Thank you for the time being. Have a nice time.